Hey everybody, this is Dan. Still a little under the weather, so I decided to do a video real quick. And I think I'm going to entitle this video, All We Get. And I just did a video sort of canvassing the stories behind Kimani Gray and Jamila Watkins killings, rest in peace to them. And in the confines of the comment section, someone commented about media. And I've also had people in the past talk to me about the importance of national dialogue and national attention on victims of all crimes, violent crimes, meaning shootings and everything. And the importance of having somebody like Obama step up and bring a national spotlight on it. Now, there's a line in one of Jay-Z's songs. He says, men lie, people lie, but numbers don't lie. Now, for many of you who were affected by the Newtown, Connecticut shootings, and many people were affected, and as I say, I'm struggling with any child who's killed. But let's break down the numbers. And for somebody to say that President Obama's presence in these shootings was not essential and fundamental to what I'm speaking to, you've had your head in the sand. Now, when those shootings took place, the media was right there. The president was right there. First through his spokesman, Jay Carney, then he was personally there, followed up, set a commission on gun violence, a committee on gun violence headed by none other than the Vice President, Joe Biden himself. But what that did was it galvanized the American public and people around the world. And the money started flowing. Now, let's look at some of the first checks that the parents of the 20 school kids got. And just for the record, one of those children, a young female, was half black and half white. So they were not all white. One was half black and half white. But some of the first checks they got were issued through the Sandy Hook Fund for the victims' families. That fund alone took in $1.1 million in the span of a week or 2 weeks. And they were issued through Wells Fargo Bank checks of $40,000 apiece. They also received free legal counseling. Another Sandy Hook fund that was also big that was distributed through the Newtown Savings Bank was the Sandy Hook School Fund that went directly to the victims and the school. It amassed, in January, and it's still growing, it had amassed $8 million. $8 million. Also, the United Way of West Connecticut had a big fund going on, NASCAR. I remember watching the Daytona 500 about 3 weeks ago, and they were still raising money for Newtown. Matter of fact, they ran a car in the Daytona 500 just for Newtown, and every lap they completed, and it had bonus laps when it led the race, was still raising money for Newtown, Connecticut victims. And they're still raising money as I make this video. Also, the Connecticut lawmakers set up funds, passed legislation, waived expenses. And I say that to say this. It's important when people like Barack Obama speak up for things because it brings an international spotlight on a certain issue. Now, let me backtrack. Let me digress a little bit. I remember And I keep bringing this little girl's name up because she was so precious and she reminded me of one of my daughters. I remember poor little Heaven Sutton, 7 years old, who was gunned down in Chicago. Her mother had set up a little candy store in the middle of the block so the kids wouldn't have to go to the end of the block in Chicago in that particular neighborhood where all the shooting was going on. And I remember vividly, after that young girl's death, I remember seeing her relatives and her mother out there with cans collecting donations for her funeral. And that was heart-wrenching to me. So you see where I'm going, right? No one knew about it. No one cared. And then the recent killing of Janilla Watkins, who was 6 months old, in Chicago. That family going through the exact same thing. First, they're black, they're Negroes. They're poor. And the last thing I heard from Lee's Funeral Home, they were dependent on donations to bury this 6-month-old girl. They had to special order a 3-foot casket, and finally, as he has done, and I give hats off to this brother, but Derrick Rose, the Chicago Bulls, he stepped forward to put part of the funeral expenses. In the particular article that I read, he was only putting part of it because I guess some part had already been met by other people. But he's the type of gentleman with class that'll foot the whole bill because he did so in the shooting of the young rapper last year. So I give him props for that. But why should he have to do that? Why should he have to do that when you got a community of people from which these victims come from? Why should a basketball player have to put these funerals all the time in Chicago? When you got videos of Chicago rappers, you got prominent basketball players, you got prominent rappers in general that go on video and are shown on TMZ saying that when they throw $40,000 in a strip club, it's a tax write-off. And you can Google this stuff. You can look at it. It's pathetic. We can go in a strip club where some nasty witches are and throw $1,000 at the crack of her ass in 5 minutes like it's nothing and be all on videos looking like baboons doing it. Yet, we have to rely on 12-hour bailouts to bury the youngest victims of our society. And that's the reason why I had to preface this video with how much these people, these victims' families in Newtown, Connecticut, which was not a poor area, first off, are getting. And yet the poorest of our victims get nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. It's beyond the realm of imagining to think that those who already have so much continue to get so much, while those who have so little receive so little. And we sit back and act like it's okay. And it also goes back to a most poignant point that I want to make right now. You really see how much your life is worth after your life is gone. You really see how much black blood and colored blood is worth when it's spilled. And that's all I have to say about that. Rest in peace to all those victims, but men lie, women lie. But numbers don't lie.